Well, the last time we were on, we talked about the teenage years and how you'd come before the church session when you were 14, but it wasn't until you were 19 the gospel of Christ broke into your heart by the Spirit and you were brought to a saving knowledge of the Lord. What then happened in your life after your conversion? You mentioned you had gotten more involved in the local church, and how did that then develop into a desire for the gospel ministry itself?
Well, a couple of things leading up to that. When I was 13, 14, I remember thinking about being a minister. I mean, I look back at it now and I think, that's strange. You weren't a Christian, but you'd thoughts about the ministry then. But then, of course, in the intervening years, that had disappeared. When I was 20, I got a promotion from the assembly line to the design office, designing trucks and buses. We were getting involved in the church, and one thing that had changed very much was in terms of the Lord's Day, because I used to work the Lord's Day, and at that time in Scotland, if you worked on the Lord's Day, you get triple time. So financially, it was, quite a difference. And I knew after I was converted that you got to stop working the Sunday.
That was a real inducement, wasn't it?
You were getting 3 times the hourly rate that you got through the week.
Yeah.
And that made a big difference. Huge difference.
I always have found in my ministry that men and women who have understood the concept of the Lord's Day and keeping the Lord's Day as a day of holiness and rest, that it's a great accelerant to the Christian faith.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my boss was not happy at all. I made it very clear that he was unhappy with me not working on the Sunday. That was it. The other thing, I was still studying at that point. The company would send us to a place called Stowe College, and I remember you would have exams, and often you would have an exam on a Monday morning at 8 o'clock. I'd used to study, my college secular studies on a Sunday, but I decided to stop, give myself a rest and keep the Lord's Day as best as I could, with God's help, devoted to the Lord. Even then, folk would say to me, "Oh, do you not find stopping on the Saturday that, you need your mind to be, going on the Sunday for the exam on the Monday?" And my testimony is that the Lord never let me down in that.
Yeah.
In terms of any exam, I have to say that. It's almost as though the exam had been written almost just for me.
Yeah.
Subjects, the areas of study that I found easy rather than the hard bits.
Uh-huh.
So that was always a blessing. We got engaged when we were 20, and we got married when we were 21. We actually bought our first home when we were 19, because we were both in good money. We got married at 21. And of course, we moved to the south side of Glasgow. And the first Lord's Day after the honeymoon, we did go to the morning service, but I don't know, we just didn't feel welcome. Following Lord's Day, we went to another Baptist church on the south side, and again came away, didn't feel welcome. The following Lord's Day, woke up and said, "I bet it's nice and warm, it's cold outside, let's go tonight." Of course, the evening came, and you're so tired, we'll wait till next Lord's Day. So within about a 6-week, 7-week period after getting married, we stopped going to church.
Interesting how that happened.
Oh, yeah.
It also speaks to the need when someone comes into worship with us that we do extend a hand of friendship to them.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to say a lot, but at least we do convey the interest in them. That's really important to them.
We hadn't been. And you could tell it was having an effect, even in your prayer life, Bible reading and so on. I just slipped. So this Friday, Alison came in from her work, and she said to me, "We need to get back to church." I said, "Yeah, I know." And she said, "I've heard that there's a very good preacher in Glasgow, Douglas Macmillan, the Free Church in Glasgow." And I looked at her and I said, "The Free Church? Oh," I says, I was brought up in that church, Alison." I says, "You don't want to go there." I says, it can be depressing." Of course, it was always the thoughts of a child.
Yes.
I said, they don't sing hymns, it's just psalms, there's no music. I said, no, I said, I don't want to go to the free church. I said, when I was younger, fine, but not now. So she didn't say very much. So Saturday came, and again she said, I think we should go. I said, Ma, I says, if you're going yourself. I says, I'm not going. So the Sunday morning came, and we didn't have central heating in the house, and it was bitterly cold. You had frost, on the inside of the windows.
Yeah.
And the snow. This was late October. Again, world events. I'll never forget this. It was the Sunday that the Solidarity strike started in Poland with Lech, what's his name, Wałęsa.
That's it.
It was that Sunday, and Alison said, she was up getting ready. She said, "Will you not run me in?" She says, "It's cold." She couldn't drive at that point, and we did have the car by then. And I thought, okay, better run around. So I just got my jeans and so on. And, so all the way in from the south side to the centre of Glasgow, we were basically arguing the whole way. And she said, "Will you not come in, to the church with me?" I said, "No," I says, "I'll go away." And I says, "I'll come pick you up." And so anyway, we got to the church, and it was bitter cold. And she said, "Come in." She says, "The church will be warm." She says, "The place is cold." And she says, "You'll be cold." So I thought, okay, I'll go in. So I went in, and we greeted at the door, the elders, and we got a lovely welcome. And this is immediately beginning to, make me, wow, that's different. Then when we walked through into the sanctuary, what hit me straight away was organ pipes. A full set of organ pipes. I'm thinking, free church with an organ? Of course, not realising at the time that this had been a church that had been used by other denominations. They'd used the organ. So anyway, we got in, we sat down, and we got a nice welcome from the folks, in the pews and so on. And then the minister came out from the vestry, and he didn't have a collar on, he had a shirt and tie on. And I thought, and I knew from my younger days that usually it were the divinity students that would wear the shirt and tie. So I thought, it must be a divinity student they've got today. First psalm was announced, and we started singing, and all the old tunes just came back. So I'm singing away good style, and Alison, she's looking at me sort of, because she'd never been brought up with psalmody.
Yeah.
She's going, whoa, what's he doing? So I'm singing away good style. The irony was the church was cold because their heating had packed in that day.
Right.
So it was physically cold, but the preacher, Douglas Macmillan, his text and his passage that day, believe it or not, was from Luke and the prodigal son.
Right.
And A, I'd never heard preaching like this. And B, again, I thought it was just for me.
Uh-huh.
And we came to the end of the service. We went out at the door. Douglas was there, and he said, "Oh, nice to see you," and so on and so forth. Douglas being Douglas, he said, "Will we see you again this evening?" And I immediately said, now this took Alison by surprise. I said, "Oh yeah," I said, "We'll be back." So the reason that I ended up back in the free church was because my wife took me there kicking and screaming.
That's tremendous. I mean, it's a wonderful thing that Alison did persistently speak to you that day, and even in God's providence, there was no heating in your house, because that was the human means that God used. And then again, what you just said speaks to the power of the Word of God. There was a familiarity of the singing, but if the preaching had been not addressing the heart, you have said, well, that was a nice experience, but it was the gripping preaching of the Word that really said to you, I am drawn here to God.
Yeah, God was speaking through his word and through his servant directly to me. That's my understanding of it as well.
Well, that's another good time spent together. It's encouraging just to hear a man speak of his journey in the things of God. So Good to talk to you again. We'll catch up next time and we'll move on the story.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks.